about the victim of bullying, it's always the bully. Like when you look into it, they tend to have like really bad home lives, or they've been bullied, or they're insecure or something, because what other reason would you have to go and be mean to someone unless you're insecure yourself? So in the weirdest way ever, if someone's bullying you, you have to forgive the bully and accept that there's something not okay there, and you have to feel sympathy, but it's something you have to do. You have to be the bigger person and love yourself and accept yourself and just go, that person's got things, it's okay, and move forward and everything's great.
Someday we should venture to the internet. Someday we should venture to the internet. Too much time in the internet, and I heard your vibe on people said, why'd you change? Where's your innocence? Where's your blonde hair? Why'd you dye it red? When you sing, you sound like a 10-year-old.
Bullying has been something that's really prolific in my life story, because I'm someone that's had a lot of experience when it comes to being bullied. Unfortunately, it's something that's kind of been through my life, all my life really. Like one of my earliest memories of primary school, like before primary school, so I was about 3, 4, this kid just walked into the room and shoved me into this box of Legos. So that was for me the initiation of school. Through my teenage years I got heavily bullied. But that was kind of okay, because I was being bullied for being weird and different in my music sense, my dress style. So I was a bit of an emo kid, but that was okay. But I was really unheard of in small Ireland. No one really appreciated the music or the dress sense. It was very unheard of. So I got really heavily picked on for that. I also, my appearance was always something that was picked on, because I was quite athletic, so I was quite thin. My hair was down to way past my waist, and it was frizzy because my parents used to brush it, and I had braces, so I was called the Caucasian Ugly Betty for a long time. But the bullying got really bad in school, to the point where I didn't really want to go to school, to be honest. And then the internet became a thing. So I remember there was a website called Bebo before Facebook, and a group of girls decided to make a hate page about me. So that was a thing. But so that was even before any of my life got even weirder. Like, so it's always been a thing. And then television happened, and I found myself, well, I kind of knew what I was signing up for, because it's TV. If you put yourself out there, you're going to get hit. So I was well prepared for it, really, but not as prepared as I thought, because I used to be very insecure. So sometimes when I felt bad, I'd go online and I'd read the hate comments and kind of use them as justification for my insecurities, because someone might mention something that I was insecure about, and I'd be like, yeah, see, I'm not mad, they think it as well. Whereas these days, because I've been doing this job now for 5 years, I feel like I've got beyond that. I'm like the Batmobile now. Like, I'm just impenetrable. Anytime someone throws something at me, I've got like rhino skin. It doesn't really matter. So I kind of always try and use my experiences to maybe help others. So I've done quite a lot of just charity work with anti-bullying campaigns and things, just to show kids that, you know, it's not only them. And last year I put out a song with 2 Scottish rappers. We did an anti-bullying song called Beautiful to Me, and that was a song for National Anti-Bullying Week in the UK. And, you know, just anything that I can possibly do just to show kids that it's not their fault, like, I will do it. Being myself, I've always known that that's really important, and I don't know where I get that from. There was one week where I was like, I'd given up my guns, and I was like, right, I'm gonna try and hang out with the cool kids. And I started like trying to listen to their music and trying to dress like they did and all of those things, and it made me so unhappy. Trying to be someone else, trying to act like I was someone else, made me so sad that I was like, it's so funny, I'm being mocked for being like the sad kid because I'm always on my own, but being with you guys makes me sad. I'm happier on my own. If I conformed and just became their idea of what I should be, I would have probably jumped off the deep end. Like, that would have been the worst decision. When it came to being bullied, like, I didn't want to take it home. Like, and I remember at school, one kid had said something so bad that I was crying, and I cried in school, and they were going to call my parents, and I told them, like, don't you dare call my parents, that's not okay, don't do that. and they were like, we're gonna ring his parents. I was like, don't do that. That's not okay. Like, I'm not giving you permission to do that. That's because it would have made my life worse. Because like they're picking on me, and then like I've told their parents, you know, which I didn't. But they called the parents anyway. And this kid lived really close to my house, and he came into school the next day and just was like so cross at me, like started yelling and swearing, and it's like it's not my fault. So then I felt like I'm a terrible person. I can't believe they went and told his parents. But now that I look at it, it's so easy to blame yourself for everything. I was being picked on, and then I felt like the bad guy. And I never wanted to take it home to my parents. Like, I had 3 older brothers, and they didn't realize at the time, but they would pick on me a little bit because they're my older brothers. That's what you do, you know. It's like initiation into the family kind of thing. But they would pick on me for the same things that the kids at school would pick on me for, which just kind of sometimes made me, for about a year, I felt quite isolated in my own house. Like, I couldn't talk to my parents, and I couldn't obviously talk to my brothers, so I was very alone. And that's, I think, probably when I started doing the most songwriting. Like, that's when I went, this is a thing I like to do, and I started writing poetry. And I was like, well, if I'm being known for being the weird kid, I may as well just do what I want then, because it won't be that unexpected. So for me, that was really when I started getting more into music, because it's been picked on for my music taste as well. So it's like, I don't care now anymore, so I'm just going to be myself. And I didn't really have many friends in the start of school either, so I was always on my own. So I always got to listen to my own music and just be on my own. And I don't know, it's made me into who I am today. Because like, if you're an interesting, like these people who blended in, now I go home, especially to the bullies. Like, there was, after I did television, no one in my hometown knew who I was. No one knew I existed, apart from maybe the people that picked on me, because obviously it wasn't even just like a few people. It was like most of my class. And I came back after the audition had aired, and I used to sit at the rejects table, and I turned up to the rejects table, and there's like 2 girls who used to bully me, but they were like the popular girls. Suppose you would compare them to like the Plastics and like Mean Girls or something, and they were sat at my table wanting to be my friend, and that was really weird for me. Like, that's when I knew, like at that point I was lucky I'd made friends, and they were just as weird as me. And you know, you just gotta be patient, because I went like 2 years with no friends, but I was still myself, and I was kind of okay with that. I was like, as long as I'm being true to me, it's all good. So then I finally made friends that were as weird as me, and it was great. But it's that moment, like, you're sat opposite your bully who wants to be your best friend. You're like, you kidding me? Really? My school was quite small, but I was in the smart kid classes. So we all got rearranged by a certain point. So whenever we were 15, like as soon as our classes got rearranged, that's when the bullying stopped, because I wasn't in their class anymore. I was in this class with the smart kids and the dorks, and then my friends now, they were also in there, so we just, it was way better. Yeah, unfortunately I was a natural born weirdo, and when I did TV and stuff, they pigeonholed me as the weird one, which was weird, like, which was funny, because I was never someone who was like, I'm weird, because in my brain I'm normal.
Yeah.
And it's not until someone says I'm a little bit weird that I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm totally sane and normal. I don't know, I do weird stuff like walk around, and if I'm walking around I'll play this game in my head where I make every sentence I think rhyme. Because I love poetry, so I just do weird stuff like that. When it comes down to it, like, there was days maybe like where I broke down, like where I cried into my pillow and I thought the world hated me and everyone was against me and I had no purpose here, and I didn't know who I was. To this day, I still don't know who I am. I think that's a really broad term. But there were days where the world came crashing down, because I didn't fit in anywhere. I didn't fit in at home, and I didn't fit in at school, and I didn't fit in wherever I was. But they were like, I don't know where this idea of just, I have to be true to myself, it just was always in me. And I I think especially with the music side of things, like I was a big band person. I loved emo bands and things like that, and they're all very weird people, and they all normally got bullied and they all got picked on, and I think I find a lot of like solace in that. I was like, you're like me, you got picked on, but look, you're like making music. Because I never thought in a million years I'd be an artist. I never thought I'd be a songwriter. Never thought any of this was possible. So I never looked at them and was like, I want to do that. I looked at them more as like what you do as a kid, where you're like, that's a role model, where they're telling you that it's okay to be you. You know, as long as you being you doesn't hurt anyone around you in a negative way, then I think you should do it. Like, the thing is like going back to like maybe like a David Bowie thing. Like, David Bowie was the weirdest man ever. Like, he used to walk around the streets wearing a David Bowie attire, but I'm in the fortunate position now where David Bowie's being David Bowie, and after that you can be whoever you are, because it's okay to be weird, and you can see in other people that there are success stories in being as weird as you want to be. And I think that's the magic of it. I think once you understand that loving yourself is more important than what other people's perceptions of you are, that is the core. Because from that point onward in my life, like, I don't love myself, unfortunately, but I'm definitely on that little journey that you take to be comfortable with yourself. And I think as soon as you accept that, and you accept that you are you and no one else, and you can't change who you are, and you shouldn't change who you are, as soon as you just accept that, nothing anyone can say around you will ever get to you, because you're just like, well, that's a you thing, not a me thing. So the internet played a massive part though. Like, when I pretty much got like my first laptop, like, that's when like my life kind of changed a bit, I suppose. Like, I was like joining a few online communities, and I remember there was a website called Habbo, which I used to go on, and I literally lost hours and days of my life on. And my brother got into it as well, funnily enough, because one of my brothers is like my best friend. So like, being on the internet and being maybe somewhat addicted to the internet has been a thing in my life, and always has been. I think that's probably why the song talks about the internet so much, because it's like, it's a real thing that I'm actually addicted to. This is really what this song is about though. I don't know, the song is about like, it's kind of touching on the whole digital detox side of things, because I've heard a couple of stories of people who like talk about digital detox and being like, yeah, I'm going to like the Himalayas to do yoga for a month, and I'm going to take myself away from the internet, and you're like, it's a bit extreme. Like, it's a bit much. Like, every night, like, try to every night for an hour, just take my phone offline, turn off my, like, maybe have the TV on, because I don't really find that too bad, but I'll just take myself off the internet and just be present, because I find it like you'll be sat in the living room with people and like no one's talking to each other, everyone's on their device and things, and I think that's a bit like, what's going on? Are we not going to communicate? And this is a bit of a line that's a bit weird. So like, I'll either just maybe watch a film without looking at my mobile or something, or just meditate or something that is a bit more trying to be in the moment and not on something, but just for an hour, because like I said, I love the internet.